So it's April, we're well into April now, and it's a quarter of the way through the year. If you have my 2019 goal setting workbook, or if you've worked with me before, you'll know I'm all about 90-day goals, looking at the year in quarters. So checking in with your goals throughout the year, and most importantly, breaking them down into milestones across the year. So you're staying on track, you're staying focused, you're staying motivated. So it's one of my favorite things to check back in after 3 months to see what I've achieved, reflect on my goals, tweak and reassess where I need to. The reason I focus on 90-day goals, as much as I'm a fan and a total cliche with New Year's resolutions, yearly goals, that January 1st New Year feeling, it often doesn't turn into action. And a lot of people are dreamers and not doers when it comes to their goals. And I think 90-day goals just hold you accountable, because a lot of us set these huge, exciting goals for the year and we can't tangibly feel it or see it in our future, because it might be something huge, life-changing, completely different to what we've done before. A lot of us just can't predict where we're going to be in 12 months, but most of us can predict what we're going to be up to in the next week, in the next month. So it's a great way to break things down if you do find you either bury your head in the sand and ignore your yearly goals because they're too big and scary, or you just get swept up in that dreamland and don't find yourself actually making the action plan and getting to the end goal. Because what is the point of setting goals if not to achieve them? But equally, I think there's something about 3 months that feels bigger than a really basic task. So it's long enough to actually push yourself to hit quite a big milestone. Even if it's not the end point where you want to be, you know you've taken a big leap towards it. Whereas looking at the week or the month, let's say, we can just get caught up in everyday life. You know, if you have a really busy week and you've set a goal for that week, you might not have even had a chance to look at that thing. Whereas in 3 months, you could feasibly change something. You could add a new habit into your routine. You could hit a target, because if you have an off week, you know you've got that time left to get back on track or reassess as you go. So in case you haven't used the workbook or listened to me talk about this before, I just wanted to share some quick benefits, and that is why I feel they're so effective to use alongside your 2019 and yearly goals. You guys have spoken a lot in my DMs on Instagram, in emails, just saying you want to hear more from me and that you love the interviews on the podcast, but you want to hear my story and what I'm up to. So just to recap, I've got my bullet journal in front of me here because this literally contains my life. My 2019 goals are find and buy our first home, make peace with money and know my numbers, tell the world what I do. The smart side of that goal is to tell the world what I do, and I've put in brackets at least once a week. So advertise what I do once a week. Connect with myself daily and put myself and my priorities at the top of my to-do list. So 90-day goals for Q1, January to March. Start viewing houses, daily meditation and reading in the morning, my weekly check-in and business overview, plan my workday the evening before, and look at my schedule before saying yes or no. So holding myself accountable and showing you guys that I actually do this work myself and I don't just come on here and tell you what to do. My first one I've not done. We've just not found the time to view anywhere, and we've been a bit unsure about our budget and all that kind of stuff. You can always like estimate what you can get, but Now it's April, I've actually just done my tax return this week, which is very organised of me, and we're gonna hopefully be getting our mortgage in principle in the next few weeks. Second one, daily meditation and reading in the morning. Reading, absolutely nailing it. Loving reading in the morning. It's definitely become a daily habit for me, which is great. Very exciting because I really was slacking with my reading. Meditation, I am going to hold my hands up again and say I've not been doing this every day. It's not been a part of my morning routine in the same way that reading has, which is annoying, but I'm going to touch on this a bit more later in this chat because I have a few theories and a few things I'm focusing on for the next quarter. Weekly check-in is going really well, and I've actually put it in my calendar, in Google Calendar. If you know this already, you'll probably be like, duh, but it was an epiphany for me. In Google Calendar, you can set a task to repeat itself. So on a Friday at 3 p.m, every single week, I have weekly check-in in my calendar. So if I go to book something in, like a day out somewhere or a meeting or whatever else, I know that I have to work around that because it's a priority to me. Friday afternoon works really well for me. I've spoken about this in the past because it allows me, if I'm not working at the weekend, to fully switch off and feel like everything is boxed off, everything is accounted for, and I can head into my Monday feeling really organised. So really glad I'm back on that habit, and it's been really beneficial. And again, it's a great place to check in with these 90-day goals and make sure I'm on track, see what I can change moving forward, all that kind of stuff. Planning my workday the evening before. I have become more consistent with this, although I have tweaked the approach I have to my work. So if you've watched my planning videos in the past, you'll know I used to account for every single hour of my day. And not that I don't do that anymore, I definitely do block my time out, and time blocking is something that I'm again going to talk about in a minute. Every single hour had to be accounted for, every single hour had some huge task involved, and it was just too much and it was overwhelming, and I felt burnt out. I felt like I really struggled to switch off at the end of the day. So the way I actually plan my workday has changed a lot, and it's really simplified. And lastly, looking at my schedule before saying yes or no. I am so much better at this, and I'm so glad I set this as a goal, because last year I fell into the trap of saying yes to everything. If it was exciting, I would just be like, yeah, let's get it in the diary. Or if someone wanted to meet with me, or if I wanted to meet with someone else, or if I was coaching, podcast interviews, there's so many different things that I'm sure you can relate to juggling, trying to squeeze people in, even social stuff, like feeling like a bad friend if you're not seeing every single person at least once a month, and trying to like juggle your diaries around, squeeze everyone in. It's just exhausting, and I end up being my own worst enemy because I say yes to everything because I want to do everything. I'm a people pleaser, and then I get to the week and I literally want to cry looking at my calendar because it's so packed out. And especially during weeks if I have lots to do at work, never in the house, I'm never actually at my laptop doing the work. So that's been really, really beneficial, and I'm learning to set those boundaries. I'm learning to know how much is too much and where my limit is with my diary, so I can realistically look and say, like, yeah, I am free, but I'm not gonna put anything else in that week because it's enough. And I think that's a great place to get to. So something that came up when I've been reflecting on the first quarter of the year, it's been a really funny start to the year, and it's quite disappointing in a way because I am very cliche, I do attach this certain expectation to the new year, that it's going to be this huge thing. I'm going to hit the ground running after a Christmas break. I'm going to be so far ahead by March. One of the biggest things I've reflected on, and I've mentioned this to my business partner Holly, I've spoken to Adam about it, friends, people who I go to see, like my reflexologist, one of my friends who I'm coaching with at the moment. I take myself and my work way too seriously. And I think that's one of my best traits and one of my worst at the same time. Clearly, I love goal setting, organisation, putting things down, pen to paper, getting shit done. But at the end of the day, life is for living. So cheesy. But I feel like I've not been living enough. I've not been present enough. I'm not living up to my full potential. I'm not being the best coach that I can be if I'm not present. I'm definitely not being the best friend, the best girlfriend, the best daughter I can be, sister, if I'm not present, because I'm constantly burning myself out or thinking too far into the future. What next, what next, what next? And just focusing on today. And more importantly, feeling good today and enjoying myself today. So one thing I said to Holly, work related, was I feel like I just want to have more fun this year. I started doing what I do because I love it, and it's so important to hold on to that why. And I think my downfall is taking everything way too seriously and forgetting that it's fun and it should be fun, and I don't have to do this, I get to do this. So that's a real mindset shift for me in the next quarter. And with that comes a lot more boundaries, again, self-care, but also just fun, pleasure, joy, relaxation, all the things that in my head I resist because I have a lot of limiting beliefs around work. I do have this thing of work hard and rest later, and I think with what I do personally, I can't live like that. I can't exist like that. I can't grow my business like that because, to be honest, I'm going to be a really shit life coach if I don't have a life. So yeah, more life in quarter two. So with that being said, my 90-day goals for quarter two are going to be: one is time block my social media into my work day. So as much as I want to move away from being scheduled 24/7, I do think that having a block of time to check my social media and emails will be so beneficial to me, because I fall into that habit, because I want to do so much, because I want to be in control all the time. I feel like I constantly have to be replying, checking. In the evening, I've wrote putting my phone on airplane mode in brackets, because that's something I've been trying to do more and it has really helped. Even if I'm on Instagram for fun, I'm still actually in work mode, even if I don't realise it at the time. Secondly is to do all of my work tasks at a desk. Now this might sound really boring to some or obvious to some, but if you work from home, you know you can get into some really gross habits. A huge one of mine is just sitting in bed and working. It's awful for my back, my posture. It makes my body feel horrible. And if my chiropractor knew I was in bed working, she would be so upset with me. And it also ties into the social media thing, because I have no boundaries in my day, and physically going somewhere to work I think will really help me to make that transition from work mode to just human mode at the end of the day if I'm actually physically changing my space and my environment. My third goal is to reach 10% of my savings target. So as I said, we should be moving forward with house hunting stuff in the next 3 months. More of a personal financial goal relating to that is to have a significant cushion for when we do move in. So being self-employed, freelancing, anything where your income fluctuates is quite stressful. You just never know whether a client is going to be late paying an invoice, or you're going to be chasing stuff, or things fluctuate for whatever reason. Clients finish working with me and I'm waiting for a new intake. All that kind of stuff can cause a lot of stress, and I don't want to be in a position where I'm paying a mortgage and I'm worrying about whether I'm going to be able to pay it that month, which, touch wood, shouldn't be the case. But if it ever is, I want to know that I've got that cushion. So I have a savings target in my head, and if I save 10% in the next quarter, I'm going to be halfway there, which is really good. My fourth one is a daily play activity. So you know when you were little and you had breaks all the time, because teachers knew that you couldn't just sit a child at a desk and expect them to work all day from 9 till 3. And we forget that as adults, yes, of course, we can be more productive and focused and train our mindset in that way. But our bodies are designed to move, to change, to be free and do what they want. And if that means stopping at your desk and doing a little dance break, or realising in the afternoon that you're just hitting a wall and you're not getting anywhere, just getting up and going for a walk, or going meeting your friend for a coffee, cooking something, or doing a hobby at the end of the day after work that is nothing to do with work and productivity. We forget as adults to play and to have fun just for the sake of having fun, because we know that it's beneficial for kids, but we just unlearn that habit as adults. So having my daily break time and play time is a really big focus for the next few months. And lastly, my last 90-day goal is to relaunch my coaching services, which is really exciting. I am in the middle of doing a business course. I'm doing Marie Forleo's B School, if any of you know Marie Forleo. If you don't, you should, because she's amazing. And that has given me so much clarity on you guys, what you want, how I can serve you and make your life better and give you free content that is going to be valuable to you. And all this has brought up a lot about my coaching and the kind of coach that I want to be. So thank you for those of you who filled in the questionnaire. It was so helpful to hear your feedback a few weeks ago. This has really shaped my coaching. I'm going to be reworking my website, reworking my packages a little bit, introducing something new and trying different things out. So look out for that. I've set myself a little deadline of the 1st of May for that. This is, as always, very scary to share online, very scary to put out there. This is my life, and I do want to show you that I'm doing it too. I'm working through my workbook myself. I'm setting my own goals. I'm holding myself accountable, but equally I'm also struggling with stuff. I'm also repositioning stuff. I'm also being kind to myself, as I would encourage any client to with their own life and goals as well. So that's me, that's where I'm at. If you haven't already, I would really encourage you to reflect on the year so far. I do have my workbook available. It's a digital copy you can download off my website. But even if you don't have it, I think this is a great activity to do you can do it in just like 5-10 minutes in your journal, in your bullet journal, on a scrap piece of paper, on your laptop, in your notes app, on your phone. Just record it somewhere where you know you're going to look back at it. Even if the year hasn't gone to plan so far, you'll just have a bit more focus on your next steps. I've shared my goals, so I'd love you guys to share some of yours with me too. You can message me on Instagram, you can tag me in your stories. I love it when you guys tag me on your stories listening to the podcast. If you prefer to contact me privately, you can at contact@horrocks.com. Thank you guys for your support, and I'll speak to you soon.